Hi, welcome to October's Extreme Productivity Experiment video. So October was going to be a reader's vote. We'd got some different options and blog readers were voting on which of those it was going to be. I think it was looking like I was going to do decisions by the flip of a coin was going to be the winner. But it all got sidelined, as had happened in September. We were having a very difficult time with my wife's pregnancy, and I just in the previous month ditched a lot of travel plans that I had and then that me and my wife had together, and so we changed that month to be called the Lemon. So it was all about when life gives you lemon, make lemonade. This October month was then going to be about the reader's vote, and we decided to change this one again. And I ended up coining this phrase, Ruthless Kindness. So what was happening in my life at that time was that Shaz really needed me. There was just, we were having a lot of meetings with geneticists about our son's chromosomal disorder, and there was, various prognoses, most of which were terrible. And it was just, it just continued to be a really tough time. At the same time as with Think Productive, we were as busy as we'd ever been, and we just had one of our team hand in their notice, so we were kind of a person down in the team, and people were just really stressed. It was the first time probably ever that I had walked into the Think Productive office and just kind of felt like people are stressed here, like this is not how we're supposed to work, like we know about this stuff, right? So I just kind of realized, I was really, my mind was on other things. I wasn't really in the office very much. I'd taken a lot of time off. The business needed me, Shaz needed me, like it was just, it's just a tough time. And I think what everyone really needed in and amongst that was some ruthless kindness. So I decided, okay, I'm going to be kind to myself, I'm going to be kind to everybody around me, and I'm going to really think about what does that mean in terms of productivity, what does that mean in terms of how do we change the game here from these kind of very negative, stressful kind of situations. Because I think, fundamentally, if you can resolve stress, then you can also resolve and improve productivity. I think they're kind of the same thing in many ways. So a few things that happened during that month. I walked in one day to the office and I decided on our daily huddle meeting. So we do this kind of 10-minute meeting every day where we ask the same set of questions. And I just added an extra question, which is like, what do you need from me today? Like, just if I had a magic wand, what would it be? And one person actually said, my laptop is just like really slow, like I'm really struggling with it. And I was like, right, we're buying you a new laptop today. Someone else is like, I really need to head home today, I've got this appointment at this time. I was like, you go, we'll work the hours up. So we just got into this thing of like, let's just look for ways to be kind, and let's just think about kindness as like a secret weapon, as a kind of secret tool of productivity. I did this fun thing where on one day I phoned up this company that they do full body massages. They're just down the road from our office, and I just phoned them up and I paid just on my credit card and had them phone each person in the office and go, hi, we've just had a massage paid for you, when would you like it booked in? So people didn't have a choice. It was like, oh, okay, I'll have a massage on Thursday. So just getting free massages for the team, just all that kind of little stuff that I think just can make a huge difference in terms of that sense of kindness and that sense of being cherished and valued. What I found through the month was kindness is actually a really underrated thing with productivity. It's also often a lot of people view it as almost like the opposite of productivity. So if you think about how people give themselves structure and self-discipline, often it comes through guilt, and often it comes through trying to be strict enough, with yourself to work an extra hour or do an extra thing or whatever. Or diet is all about, in some senses, being unkind, isn't it? It's about depriving and restricting and all those sort of things. So lots of this sort of self-discipline stuff does come at the direct expense of kindness and being kind to yourself and being kind to other people. Often with productivity, you're making choices that are, if it's ruthlessly affecting you in a good way, it's probably affecting someone else in a bad way. So if you're saying no to meeting someone else for a coffee, which might help them, because you need that hour to focus, then you're being unkind to that person because you're trying to be kind to yourself. So I think kindness is like, the dynamic of kindness is very alien to productivity. It's almost kind of feels like oil and water, like they don't kind of go together naturally. But then, here's the thing, I think when you do it, when you bring in something that's like ultra kind or ruthlessly kind, it just comes so kind of out of the ordinary to people in that context of work and productivity and all that stuff, that it becomes a very strong human connection. It builds trust, and like through human connections and through trust, I think we get to what's important around productivity, teamwork, morale, motivation, all those kind of things. So I actually found, thinking about kindness more and thinking about it in that sort of way, thinking about it as not something that's like alien or opposite to productivity, but something that can actually really aid productivity, as well as just being a really nice a nice approach to life and work. I found it a really interesting experiment, and it was obviously completely unexpected. It was not what we had planned to do, and again, it was just like a bit like last month. It was kind of like, let's just take what this moment is and what this moment needs and create the experiment out of that, rather than having it pre-planned. I think probably I had the confidence to do that with those 2 months, rather than perhaps either carry on as normal and do a ham-fisted job of it, or scrap the whole thing, which is kind of the other two options I sort of had at the time. I got the confidence to do that really through having done some courses in improvised comedy. So one of the rules of improvised comedy is, so it kind of looks like it's all free-flowing and whatever, but there's some mindsets and rules behind it which make it work, basically. And one of those is about accepting and building. So you accept the situation you're in, and then you work out how to build that into something bigger or better. And it kind of felt like that's what I was doing really with those 2 months. So with the previous month with the lemon, and then with this month with Ruthless Kindness, they just came out of that moment. And if I did those 12 experiments again and I had everything else exactly the same going on in my life, it might be that something different would have emerged through those things. So I think that's what makes improvisation such a special thing, because what emerges one day is completely different from what emerges the next day. So it sounds a little bit hippy dip. Hope you're still with me. But yeah, just the whole sort of notion of just like taking the truth of a situation and then developing what is needed from that was really what I was trying to do with those 2 experiments through a very difficult time. The next month is obviously November. On October the 30th, our son was born. Thankfully, it was not as bad as we had feared. So we had like 3 doctors, 3 surgeons, and 3 midwives in the room. Like, we were so well cared for, because they thought that he was going to have major surgery, and there was some pretty scary sort of post-birth stuff that we'd been sort of briefed on that was ready to happen. And when they came out and they examined him, they were like, oh, your internal organs all seem fine, and you've got a little problem with your heart there, but we'll sort that out. And and then he was in an incubator for a little while, but basically it was kind of as good as it could have been. So November, I did decide to just take the month off. So there's no experiment video for November. The next one you'll see will be December. But yeah, the story of those last 2 or 3 months and the difficult pregnancy turned into a really wonderful, happy ending. So we're really happy. He's called Roscoe, and he was named after a song by Midlake. And the song is all about looking for simplicity in complicated times, and getting back to kind of simpler ways of living. And given all the experiments that I've been sort of doing over the year, and some of those core themes that were running through, it just seemed so perfectly apt to call him Roscoe. So the name comes from the song Roscoe by Midlake, if you want to check that out. We'll put that in the little information thing here as well. And the next video you see will be December. So my month off in November in 2013, and then returning in December 2013 for the final month of my Extreme Productivity Experiment series. See you there.